Well, this is rich. According to a new book by Meghan Markle mouthpiece Omid Scobie, Meghan never wants to set foot again in England because, wait for it, she is unwilling to dive back into the soap opera of the royal family. Let that sink in. The person who took a U-Haul packed with Mr. Bubble to Kensington Palace and turned on the faucet and started to fill up the tub suddenly has a problem with the suds she herself frothed up. Oh, my God, the woman who cosplayed as a royal for a few months 5 years ago can't stop nursing her imaginary grudges or blaming the royal family for her thin skin. But hang on a minute. We have been told repeatedly by Omid Scobie that the Markle Mountbattens had nothing, no thing, to do with his new book. He is not their pal. They were not among his sources. Oh dear. Let us not be gaslit, people. Let us all remember that Meghan and Harry denied they had anything to do with Mr. Scobie's first book about them, Finding Freedom, only to have to admit when the lawyers brought the receipts that, yeah, they had to do with it. So, believing a word that comes from the mouths of the Montecito duo or from the pen of their mouthpiece, Omid, is to fashion yourself into the dullest of dupes. Similarly, to continue my ongoing rant about the similarities between two prime disseminators of disinformation, one on the left of the political spectrum and one on the right, believing that any tidbit of truth clings to the tweets of the twits who lick the bottom of Donald Trump is to announce to the world that you are, at the very least, among the least discerning of American citizens. Surely, I'm aware that believing the fictions of Montecito is far less dangerous to, the health of democracy and the sustainability of the rights we have come to enjoy, these last 250 years, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, than falling for the fictions of Trump stooges, but that doesn't mean we get to overlook the similarities between them. And that is, in short, the necessity of being alarmed, in appropriate degree, by the lies of either camp. I mean, what damage comes from embracing the fibs of Harry and Meghan compared to buying into the alternate reality of a stolen American election, allowing a person with 91 felony counts to even run for the U.S. presidency, suffering his persistent threats of violence or the foment of civil war? I suppose the damage in the case of Meghan and Harry is, in the main, restricted to annoying the members of the royal family. The former royal's attempts to undermine the effectiveness of the Prince of Wales in his campaign to curtail climate change and abolish homelessness, or the Princess of Wales's program to impact early childhood years, are quixotic at best, especially as the Waleses themselves pay them, publicly, no mind. Still, imagine what pain might have been avoided if the red flags raised by the arrival of Meghan Markle in her early days with Harry had been heeded. Had the concerns of the Princess Royal or Prince William, the two most senior royals who we know tried to slow down the whirlwind of his romance with Meg, been taken seriously and acted upon. Wow, I can visualize a world in which we act early and seriously upon the threats and criminality of Donald Trump. Perhaps he wouldn't still be walking unencumbered upon American streets, continuing to do his fascist best to undermine the peace and freedoms of our democratic nation if we all got over our great collective investment in wishful thinking. The center will hold. People. The center is held by people. Unfortunately, normalizing the tyrannical nature of Donald Trump seems to be a great game within the media. Holding Trump accountable for his crimes is being acted upon ever so slowly by the courts, and the American people are not taking his present danger to our lives and livelihoods in any way as seriously as his threat requires. We have authentic reasons to be alarmed for our safety and our sovereignty, and yet we treat Trump more as a pesky joke than as the foul, festering menace that he actually is. So I take on the smaller pests. Meghan, Omid, please stop. Please stop making fools of yourselves. It isn't a question that you'll destroy either the American way of life or the monarchy of our British cousins, but with each new misstep on your various pap walks, you're giving us all contact cringe. You are a diversion from matters of actual importance, and even perhaps a necessary one, as the gravity of the Trump threat requires a bit of froth once in a while to make it palatable. But too many of us are now aware that believing a word that comes from the Markle camp or the Trump camp is utter folly. This not believing applies to the accusations Meghan and Harry have hurled at two of their family members regarding racism. The label of racist would be hard enough to swallow on its own as applied to these two, but couple it with the fact that Omid Scobie offers as an excuse for the slander that the names were released because of a publishing error. Well, if you believe that any publisher would add a full passage of potentially libelous information without clearing it with both the author and their own legal department, then, man, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. If you like what we're doing here at The Authentig, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave us a comment, which makes the algorithm very happy. Let us know if you're planning on reading Omid Scobie's latest fiction. I think I ought to in light of these little videos I'm making, but I'm too old and I hate to waste the time. Thank you for watching.